Hello, good
Hi,
afternoon.
Lisa. Hi, good afternoon.
How are you?
Really good, thank you. You?
I'm not too bad. The weather is not being really nice in Spain, but yeah, just coping with this challenging situation the best we can. And in addition, we have rain. We had rain the last pretty much 3 weeks, so yeah, it's been difficult a little bit.
Here it's been hard because it's sunny like every day, all day. I'm in Italy for the moment, and it's been sunny every single day. So it's like we're closed inside, we can't do anything outside, and we're just watching this beautiful sun. But
Is
we'll
what
manage, we'll manage.
is what it is. I wanted to thank you for taking the invitation of joining these coffee talks. And yeah, thanks for dedicating 1 hour of your valuable time to share knowledge and experience with the coaches or with whoever is listening there. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for the invite also because I think that it's a beautiful project and it's really different from, something that we already have in our community because as I saw it unites coaching and science, which is something that we really, really miss and really need to develop our sport like endurance overall and in a better way. So I think that it's a really good idea. Thank you for the invitation. Absolutely.
It's my pleasure. So I will briefly introduce the aim of these coffee talks or why all this started. And as you know, I'm one of the ITU facilitators, and I do the level 1, level 2 coaching courses, as well as the development camps, and etc. etc. And it's always when I go to the courses, the coaches who are starting now, okay, they have thousands of questions. Same we had back on our days when I'm still having those 1,000 questions, but they have even more, and then it's for them a little bit challenging to reach top coaches like yourself or those that been in the coffee talks previously. So I thought it was taking advantage of this lockdown time, this lockdown period, will be interesting just to bring them closer, so
Yeah.
that we could discuss, as you well said, some topics regarding coaching, always backed up with the science, because this is what we do and what we stand for, and also give them the chance to throw some questions there on the chat that you're gonna see them popping, and we're gonna pick some of them at the end of the talk. So you are free
Absolutely.
to answer them or not.
Absolutely.
Okay. So,
No, man, this is good because I mean it's I also attended your coach's course from ITU like 2 years ago, and it was amazing to have mentors that were also great coaches because they have the amazing experience that can just transmit to you as a student. And you're over there doing a course and thinking, when I grow up I want to be like him, and you have this person that can talk about Olympics, World Cups, and all of this stuff from the first person, which is really, really nice and useful, I think.
it
So
is.
it's an amazing
It
idea.
is indeed. So the thing is, when I always say the same thing, the knowledge is out there. So physiology is everything on the books. So you go, you take the books and you read them, and then the key is how do you interpret it? How do you apply the knowledge that's out there? And this is the value added that coaches, as yourself, can bring into play, because okay, we can read anything about the VO2 max, but the way we interpret it or we develop it can be, well, not slightly, can be very, very different. So and that doesn't mean it's right or wrong, as we say. It always depends. So
yeah, that's the thing. The thing is that we have now in 2020 we have all sorts of information, like scientific ones, and from physiology, biomechanics, neurophysics, everything. But at the same time, you need to be able to interpret it in a right way. In a right way for an athlete, because it's individual. There is no right and there is no wrong. And I think that the most important thing is that there is no magic recipe. You need to have the theoric facts and then apply them in a practical way to your sport, to your athlete, to your season, race, and everything. It needs to be really, really individualized. So I think that's a good idea, absolutely. But the thing is that we really have a lot of sources, scientific ones, and they're important to become a better coach, to study, to learn every day. but in the same time, apply it in a really practical way, because theory and practice are two separate worlds if we're not able to mix them in the right way. That's the main important thing, I think.
Definitely. I always deliver the same message when I'm on the courses, because a lot of coaches want the recipe. They want to know what you do. And I'm always, encouraging them to understand the whys, know what I do.
Yeah.
So the whys
Exactly.
behind. So before we move into the discussions, I would like you to introduce yourself, because you have quite an extensive CV. So I don't want to miss anything. I'm struggling with some of the words, like the university where you are now studying, and etc. etc. So I don't want to offend anyone with my poor Croatian.
No, that's not a problem. So I've been living in Italy for the last 10 years, where I studied sports science and sports physiology. I did a master's degree in endurance, performance and endurance, and this was like my university path. In the same time, I started working for Team Novo Nordisk, which is a cycling team, and I've been working for the team for the last 4 years. And that's an amazing reality, an amazing team to be part of. But in the last 6 years, I've been following a lot of triathletes on amateur level and also on professional ones. So I'm following in the same time few athletes of the Croatian National Team, because I am Croatian, and then one para triathlete that is trying to get qualified for Tokyo Games. He's also Croatian. I'm collaborating with his coach, and we're doing a great thing for now. And in the same time, I'm working at the Laboratory of Physiology in Verona, where I live and where I studied. And this year, I decided to do also a PhD study in Croatia, because there is an amazing University of Biomedicine and sports physiology. And we thought that it would be a good mix to, unite Verona and Croatia, because they're close and the two laboratories can really work together in a good way in order to, learn new things, hear other experiences, and maybe get even better. When I grow up, I want to be a good coach. That's the main thing. So
this is my main goal too. So at least to be a decent one. So you mentioned you're quite active as a coach, as you already have explained, in triathlon and cycling. So how your athletes are coping with this challenging time, and how you keep them motivated?
It's been difficult also, because you have two different sports. In triathlon, you need to cope with, it's a unique sport that became separated in 3 parts during this period, because there are some countries that let you still run outside, and there are some of them that, for instance, in Italy, you cannot do anything outside. So, and at the same time, you have cycling, where you need to train just one sport, a lot of hours, and in the same time, you cannot ride outside. So you need to be really aware of the damages and the benefits of the indoor training, and be smart with your indoor training. And the most difficult thing, I think, is to maintain the motivation high during this period, because nothing is secure. I mean, you have athletes that know that have Olympics in a year, but they don't know anything about the races in between. Or you have athletes that have big cycling races, but you don't know anything about the real dates or periods when they are going to be racing. So that's quite a challenge for this period. But I mean, you can solve it. You need to be really in a straight contact with your athletes on an everyday basis, and keep them motivated also, because I mean, it's really difficult for them. Yeah. Because we don't know anything. We don't know anything for sure. So that's the thing. You need to be prepared to, go riding outside in a week, or maybe in 1 month. So
definitely, it's been a really, really challenging time. I try to tell them that, okay, practicing sport on daily basis nowadays is kind of not for performance, obviously. But it's for health mostly. So you need to keep yourself entertained, fit, and healthy. So in the same way, you take a bath every day, and you brush your teeth, etc., etc. So training have to be kind of that. I think you in Italy been already over 2 months, no, of lockdown.
Yeah, it's been from the beginning of March, a complete lockdown. for professional and non-professional athletes, and maybe in a week we're gonna start, you know, running outside with the professional athletes and things like that, but we don't know for sure. So it's yeah, it's been like 8 weeks now of indoor training. But I mean, it's all about your perception, you know. You can also, I'm a great optimist in my life, so I think that even this period was important for some things. We got quite a few hours to work on our weaknesses, to work on our, you know, on strength training that you usually don't work on stretching, on quality on rollers, on developing, you know, those techniques and skill and small things that you usually don't have or don't think that are so important. And they make a perfect puzzle of an athlete or of a normal person that just needs to stay healthy. Because I mean, a lot of us are not active as they normally are in their everyday life, and it's important to stay active. It's important to do something, not every day if you're not an athlete, but to remain active in order to remain healthy. It's important.
With the professionals in the team, are you kind of using these new devices where you can race online or compete against other people? Because here in Spain, it's becoming crazy, and we're finding a lot of cheaters in there too. So people who you know, who win the Tour de France smoking, we'll say, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. Cool.
Are they kind of also engaged with these new devices?
Yes, absolutely they are. And you know, nowadays it's easy to do training on rollers in a good and quality way when we have all this technology that supports us. But in the same time, I mean, it's more simple for a professional athlete that has a very precise goal and that considers as its job. So it's a different approach from the pro athlete and an amateur athlete. So pro athletes are, you know, they're more worried about the not racing part, but they do their job and they do everything. And they, you know, sometimes it happens. It happens that you can have a bad day, but still they do everything. On the other side, for an amateur athlete, it may be actually really difficult to, you know, be closed outside, be closed inside, just look at the wall. So they may have like alternative solutions like racing, virtual racing and stuff like that, which is really, really good. I think that these are really good solutions. Also, we developed also like a training with 15, 20 people that are training together on different platforms. So we meet like 3-4 times a week. So you get to see your teammates and you get to spend a bit of time with them. So that's important, you know, to stay active and to stay also in contact, because a lot of people are really alone in this period too.
Yeah. I'm kind of also like you, optimistic when you have difficult situations. And I'm saying, this period, I mean, this lockdown and all this quarantine, etc., as a good opportunity to catch up with people that I usually don't have time to catch up with, because, you know, with traveling, I'm delivering courses, and you know, you barely are at home. Although when I'm traveling, my family comes with me most of the time. But yeah, so now is a good time for catching up with them. And even if you are on the turbo, you can talk, so you can, as we say in Spain, you can kill 2 birds in 1 stone. So it's
that's cool. And you know, you also have a lot of free time. I know that we always talk like we don't have enough time to do this and that. I mean, now we have enough time to dedicate ourselves to the people we love, to the things that we forget doing, and to the study. For instance, I'm studying a lot in this period. Like, it was something that I've been missing a lot, because when I finished university, it was, you know, just like training, analyzing, and you get lost in all of these data. But sometimes you just need time to study, and that's it. And that's something that I'm really appreciating in this period.
You mentioned the pros, but okay, most of the people who attend our courses end up working either with youth, juniors, or under 23. Some of them, okay, they'll have some elites, but most of them will make their living out of the amateurs. So this is actually the reality of most of the coaches who come on board. What kind of recommendations will you give them when it comes, to indoor training and managing with that. Because, and the reason why I'm asking you these questions is I was reading this weekend a study was going to be published here in Spain, whereas the number of injuries has definitely increased. Yeah. I think there was, the study was around 2,000 people, and 48% got injured during this quarantine time because of following YouTube workouts posted by random, influencers or whatever. So what kind of recommendation will you give to the coaches who are dealing with this age group?
Well, I actually think that people are overdoing during this quarantine because they are less active, so they feel like they need to train more. I mean, it's inevitable. If you've been training or following a training plan, a good training plan from a good coach before, it's inevitable that training volume diminishes in this period. It's hard to maintain it. And if you maintain it, doing 3 or 4 hours on the rollers, you really might get hurt. I mean, it's difficult, to do 3-4 hours on the rollers because it's never going to be the same as 3 or 4 hours outside. It's going to be 5 or 6 hours outside, because you also you need to get hydrated before, during, after. You need to stay aware. You need to stay aware of the stress that your body produces on the rollers. It's really different because you have the problem of overheating. So the overheating may increase, muscle strain. So you have a bigger damage. So you need more time to recover. You also have a perception of fatigue, which is different. I've heard many amateur athletes, especially, that ask me like, do I need to adjust my zones? What's with my FTP power? What's happening with my heart rate? I never saw this kind of heart rate. Yeah, because the body is really getting stressed on indoor training, so you shouldn't be overdoing. I mean, we should accept that training volume may be like much lower than when we're riding outside, absolutely, especially in the spring where normally we start riding a lot outside. But at the same time, you really need to train a lot of quality, like you need to dedicate yourself to the quality training and not to the quantity, because you can get really hurt. And then, you know what's also the problem? Many people work from home, so they stay like seated a whole day and then get up at 6 p.m. and do a 1 hour super interval training on the rollers. That is like the best recipe to get hurt, because you're inactive all day and then you hit the rollers like 1 hour full gas, and that's really something that it's difficult to manage and may be really damaging. So I can understand that people are getting hurt because they're probably overdoing.
Yeah.
And
I don't know about the situation in Italy, but here, as I said, with these non-qualified coaches, and I mean coaches who are offering free advice or free training on YouTube, etc., it's really damaging a lot of people, because it's not controlled, it's not properly organized, it's nothing. So it's
I know. You have people that study like all their lives to become a coach, that study the movement, just the simple movement. A strength and conditioning coach can be a genius of a human movement. So he studied his whole life to teach you how to do a perfect movement, and that is important. You can't just watch an exercise and do it yourself and think that you're going to do it in a perfect way. So this may be really damaging. We are, at the same time, we face a problem that on the one hand gives the coaches the possibility to study, to find researches, or to find scientific facts, which are really easy to find on the internet nowadays. But you also find this part of coaches that just give away exercises which are really damaging, because I mean the work of the coach is to control your movement and everything what you're doing. It may be a strength and conditioning coach, or it may be controlling your training load in a most perfect way. So I mean it's really important to have a person that is following you in a really methodological way. And get hurt really easily.
And qualified. This is what I'm tireless to say it. You have to be qualified, because otherwise we just we will not make our profession, let's say, more serious than it is. We still consider, and with all due respect, summer jobs. You're the coach. Yeah, it's like summer job that everybody can do out of the working hours, and that's it. So.